Welcome, beautiful soul, to another episode of Resilient Crown. Today, I want to talk about what it means to listen to your body. A lot of times, when we've gone through a lot of episodes of life, we kind of fracture from ourselves. We're no longer in tune or intuitive to the things that our body needs. And our body is a great measure. We can receive a lot of wisdom from our body. There's importance in listening and asking the questions. Where's the pain? What's causing the pain now? We want to be able to reflect and look at our body language and ultimately understand that our body's listening to everything, to the language about myself, to the language from others, to the thoughts I'm thinking. The body does exactly what we say. If it's trauma in our body and we're repeating trauma to ourselves, our body is reflective of that, of our ancestral traumas, of our movement or our fitness, how we care for ourselves, of our food choices, and even soul level agreements. I really believe in soul level agreements, that things are different than what we've been taught in Sunday school, so to speak. And we have to, I don't want to say we have to, I want to reframe that word. We get to choose to not operate in shame or blame of where we are today. And we get to take the responsibility for owning our own healing and understanding that we're still learning step by step, day by day. And we get to accept our power and understand that how we accept that power has tremendous effects on our body. Ashe. So I wanted to read to you a journal dump that I had in regards to our body and these thoughts of this process. Because as I always share with you all on this channel, I don't fake this, I do this. So you could see how my brain works. My processing of these traumas within my own body is asking me to align with movement and releasing it through somatic movements and healing and yoga. I'm being asked and led to eat healthier, not for show and not to be this iconic figure, as women often feel pressure to do, but my body's asking me to show up, to honor this vessel that I get to live in and travel in or exist within. Of course, I must include this into the healing work. Somatic healing is the next personal practice that I'm leaning into. I feel the need to keep weekdays sacred to myself, to take those times to heal and to maintain the simple routine, the often mundane practices of getting up and going to work, the valuable practices of being a parent, a mom, and leading my child into his greatest destiny, my youngest son at home. The need to apply new practices and explore new practices and listen to the somatic movements and reflect in the evenings so that I can better understand myself. These women in showbiz have taken the beautiful essence of a woman and behaved so poorly behind closed doors that this code is now sent into the atmosphere. It's giving men an overall aired perspective about what we are and who we are as women, about what our meaning to the world is. And unfortunately, as women, we support these ideas by shaping that info that we get from the outside into ourselves. And instead of investing our time and paying our dollars to ourselves and becoming this greater version of ourselves, we're following these women that are telling us this is how to look, how to be, how to feel on the outside. We as a humanity must begin to choose. We've been taught to follow the leader in so many areas, and the leader is always outside of ourselves, always outside of our highest self. We're dropped into the world of chaos and love and ugliness and wonders of beauty, with no instruction to habitate this suit. Our being is bigger. We are the drivers of this vessel. We tell our bodies the life and the route to take by our actions, our words, our thoughts, our surroundings, which we choose, our unhealed trauma wounds, and those we keep close to us, the food we eat, the substances we intake, who we bond with sexually, in all capacities, in our beliefs, anything we believe to be true truly is. So we must do the work layer by layer to become our highest divine self. Isn't that what each prophet teaches us? At the core, Muhammad, Christ, Buddha, to come back to your creator ultimately. And the creator, coming back to that, is which means coming back to your highest divine self. Ashe. And we do this by many means. We observe the lenses that we see life through. Everyone doesn't possess the same lenses. Our incubation on this planet have been so differentiated. I am of the belief that not that we might not be able to stop evil, but reduce it and contain it to where it belongs. We do this collectively, which is why we must heal, because in healing, we get our power back. Healing makes each of us powerful, and when we carry power collectively, it's like the transformers coming together and becoming one big vessel. I just wanted to read that to you all so you can understand where I come from, what I'm thinking about each day, how I process things each day, how I compound things, and how I bring it into content. Again, many YouTubes have very surface level stuff, but I read that to you all so that you can understand I actually do this life, that I'm actually in the trenches each day, that I'm actually healing each day. I mean, I do my therapy once a week. I really make it a practice to lean into people who could see me and love me for who I am, and constantly shedding those that don't align with me and swerving them, as one would say. Because it's important. It's important. There's a lot of brokenness out here. There's a lot of evil that we see coming across our screen. And my goal is to say, yes, that's there. And how do we empower ourselves? And how do we do better? And how do we do different? And how do we love? And how do we live? And how do we heal? In the midst of our careers, in the midst of our parenting, in the midst of life that's coming our way, because life doesn't stop because we choose to heal. Most of us are not fortunate to have a pause on life while we go through the chaos of healing. And it's oftentimes why many people don't do the healing. But I do want to offer that as a layer for you to be able to see how someone like me is processing life, having been through many traumas in my lifetime, and who's overcome. And as I'm going to hand to you something that my therapist reminded me of this day. I said, oh my gosh, I got to keep that on the forefront. Like I got notes. I always take notes. Remember this, beloved. Everything you've gone through, you've gotten through. Right? Everything you've gone through, you've gotten through. Even if it's muddled, even if it's unstructured, even if it's chaotic, everything you've gone through, you've gotten through. And remind yourself of that when you look in the mirror today, as I'm holding to that this week. To just remind myself to select, my team members, right? We're selecting our powerful team members, those that we want to surround ourselves with and run this race of life with. I'm always going to tell you, love the one you're with. That's all I got for y'all today. Thank you for listening and tuning into Resilient Crown. I hope to continue to bring you more content and more uplifting ideology so that we can restructure ourselves and ultimately restructure this environment, this world, this earth that we're on, and the universe. All right? Many blessings. Ashe.